What's up guys, in this video I'm gonna do a review of the Republic Wireless Moto G. Before I start the review of the device itself, I want to talk about the carrier, which is Republic Wireless. I really like Republic Wireless, but I do recommend that you guys check the coverage before you actually commit to buying a Moto G. They have very good return policy, so you shouldn't have any problem. They use Sprint data, so if you have bad Sprint coverage in your location, I do not recommend buying a Moto G. So once that you see that you have good coverage on your location, you're gonna have to pick a plan for your Moto G. So Moto G only has 3G. You can't get 4G. If you are getting 4G plan, that's $40. You have to get the Moto X. So when you decide that you want to get the Moto G, I'm going to explain to you what each plan are. So they have plans starting at $5, but I do not recommend getting the $5 plan. So what the $5 plan gets you is talk and text using Wi-Fi. So if you have Wi-Fi, or if you're on a location that always has Wi-Fi, you could use that plan and you could talk and text. That's unlimited. But you could do the same thing by getting an app on Google Play Store and just buying an unlocked Moto G. So there's pretty much no point of getting a $5 plan. You're pretty much paying the $5 for no reason. The next tier up is the $10 plan. That gives you unlimited talk and text using 3G data. Even though they do use 3G data, you are not going to be able to use the internet. The next tier up is the most popular plan, and the plan that I have using my Moto G, which is the $25 plan. That gives you unlimited talk, text, and data. This plan gives you 3G data. So I do have this plan. In my location, I get about a meg down and a meg upload speed. It's not really consistent. On some location you get much higher speed, on some, and some location you get much lower. So in my location, I'm able to play high quality YouTube video and high quality Netflix with very little problem. No matter what plan you have, when your device is connected to a Wi-Fi, it uses the Wi-Fi to make phone calls. I haven't found a way to disable that, so if you are connected to a Wi-Fi, it's gonna use that Wi-Fi to make calls. I haven't really had any problem. It should be reliable for the most part, but if you do have a crappy Wi-Fi connection, I recommend turning off the Wi-Fi most of the time and just using the 3G data. Now let's get with the review of the device itself. The Motorola Moto G. Even after the Moto E was announced, the Moto G is still the best affordable smartphone that you could get. Under the hood, it's rocking a quad-core 1.2 GHz processor. That's a Snapdragon 400 variant, and it's fast. You shouldn't have any problem scrolling through the home screen, the windows, the notification. It's even faster than some flagship phone because it doesn't have any skin on top. And it's as stock as Android you could get behind the Nexus and the Google Play Store phones. My opinion on this device hasn't really changed since the first impression. It's still a great performing device. It handles most apps and games with no problem. You get pretty good details on most games. So let's start with the most important part of this device, at least for me, which is the display. This has a 1280 by 720p 4.5-inch display. That's about 326 ppi, almost same as the iPhone. What I noticed between the difference of a iPhone display or an iPod Touch display to a Moto G is the Moto G display is kind of reflective. If you have heavy light, you're going to notice that it's kind of like a mirror. But I'm used to a Retina display, so I can't really complain because this device is much cheaper than an iPhone or an iPod Touch 5G. Another thing that I dislike about the display is the on-screen button. It's kind of my opinion. Some people prefer the on-screen button, but I don't really like the on-screen button because it takes much of the screen real estate. The Moto G has a quite big bezel at the bottom, and if you add on-screen button on top of it, it kind of takes a lot of the screen away. I wish Google made the black bar transparent, so you get much more screen real estate. You could do that on Cyanogen mod, and as you could see on the Easter egg, it is transparent. I wish Google took that route so you could hide the on-screen button and you get much more screen real estate. The on-screen button kind of makes the screen look smaller than it actually is. Now let's move on to the camera. It does have a front-facing and a rear-facing camera. The rear-facing camera is 5 megapixel, and the pictures are not really that great, but I really like the Motorola camera app. So if you tap the screen, it will automatically focus the picture and then take the picture. So you get pictures that are always focused. That's really cool, but the picture really lack a lot of details. And the front-facing camera is great if you're using Skype or video call, and you shouldn't really have much problem. Next is battery life. So the battery life on this device is actually really great. Motorola claims that you get 24-hour battery life, but I was able to use it for 1 day with heavy use and still have some charge left at the end of the day. So you're gonna get a pretty good battery life even with moderate use. So for this review, I tried to make a comparison between two devices. It's not really fair because I'm comparing the iPod Touch 5G 32 gig, which cost about $300, and the Moto G, which you could get from Republic Wireless for $150, and sort of compare what kind of performance in benchmark you could get. So I am using Fish Tank, which is a benchmark made by Microsoft, and as you could see, using 1000 fish swimming at the screen, the Moto G gets about 6 frames per second and the iPod Touch gets about 14 or 13 frames per second. So you get about double the speed, but after I used the benchmark, the iPod Touch immediately went to sleep because it was out of charge. So comparing the Moto G to the iPod Touch 5G, you see a huge battery improvement. So I wanted to see more difference between the iPod Touch 5G and the Moto G. The iPod Touch 5G has almost a 3-year-old A5 processor with half a gig of RAM, and the Moto G has the latest, almost latest, it's about a year-old processor with a gig of RAM. And for web browsing, the iPod Touch 5G still seemed much more pleasant to use. It's because of more software enhancement and software optimization, but nonetheless the Moto G with web browsing is really great. As you can see, I have the verge.com. I always use this website to load on any mobile device because it has a lot of text, a lot of images, and as you could see, this device doesn't really have any problem, not any checkerboard that you get with a low-end Android device. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is typing. Typically, typing on a low-end device is really bad, especially on touchscreen, because the device gets very unresponsive when you type and you get a huge delay. But with a Moto G, it's fast, you're not gonna get any delay, and typing shouldn't be a problem. Another thing I wanted to talk about is what it's called a OTG cable. Basically, the OTG cable allows you to connect a keyboard, a mouse, a flash drive, or even charge another device using the app, using your Moto G. And you could only do this on Android. You don't even have to be rooted in order to do this. You could buy an OTG cable. It's about $1.50 on eBay or Amazon, and that allows you to use a keyboard to type on your Moto G. So if you want to type a long email using your Moto G, you could just connect your keyboard and it will work flawlessly. Moto G is a great device. It's affordable but not cheap. It does feel like a premium device, like I said on the first impression video. It's thicker than the Moto X. That's not really a bad thing because it gives you a good heft and it feels like a solid device. So we're pretty much getting to the end of the review. I really recommend Moto G to anyone, but I do recommend that you get the 16GB version, because I got the 8GB version and you will end up you will be out of storage within like the first day after you install a lot of the apps. So I really recommend that you get the 16GB version. Overall, it's a great device. I really recommend that you buy it through the Republic Wireless because I believe that you get the best plan. And Please use the link in the description to buy your own Moto G, because that gives me some money so I could make more videos. That's pretty much all. Thanks for watching.